Hey, it's day number 2 of College COD, everybody. We're kicking things up a notch. It's been a little bit of a restructuring since our first couple weeks. So we got teams going up against new opponents. If yesterday was anything for us to look forward to, we know today is going to be a banger. My name is Dandro. I'll be one half of the duo, bringing you some action here today. And I'll be joined for at least for this first series by Mr. Zep Cass. Zep, how you doing today?
Doing absolutely fantastic and really looking forward again into this game. Once again, two top tier teams competing against each other in this series. As you can see by the records on your screen, both 8-1 and just really just bringing the heat. And I mean, we'll be taking a look at the head to head very shortly, if not right now, where you'll be able to see the level that these teams can bring across all three of their modes. I mean, truly just top tier players across the board. And as you'll see on the side of Cumberland Phoenix, 8-1 across the board in the season record, Hardpoint, S&D, and Control, only losing one map on each. That is as close to perfection as you can get without being perfect.
Yeah, it's looking very good, especially when we take a peek at this head-to-head for the side of UT Chattanooga, though. Seems like, they're a little bit lagging behind when it comes to the Hardpoint, only dropping one more map than Cumberland Phoenix. But that S&D record of 5-2 leaves a lot to be desired. What I'm looking at is that Control record. They have a flawless run so far. Now, the only problem here, Cumberland Phoenix, they're 8-1. So, kind of similarly, amount of Control maps won here. When I think about the series overall, to me, if you're UT Chattanooga, you have to try and steal out one of these hard points because you maybe can feel pretty good about the Control, but you're looking at this S&D and you say, okay, we can't let this go game 5. So we probably want to try and nail down these hard points. We want to try and nail down this Control so that way we can take this in a 3-1 fashion. But let's take a look at our map set to see, will that be possible? Because it's going to be very interesting when we take a look here, because we're kicking off with a nice Hacienda Hardpoint. I think a map that a lot of people are really comfortable with by at this point. I think as this map has entered the rotation, it's kind of has a nice pacing to it, right? Your subs, they can kind of get warmed up on hitting those routes, making those plays. ARs, you know how to hold power positions, especially when we talk about places like Top Hall or over towards fence lines. You kind of get all of those fundamentals warmed up for a series as we get ready to then go into the Hacienda Search and Destroy, Protocol Control, and if we need them, we'll have the Vault Hardpoint and the Protocol S&D on the back end. Zep, what do you think about this series when we're taking a look at these maps?
Well, I mean, you have to pick apart the little things, right? And one thing that I'm noticing is you go to the bans of the Cumberland Phoenix and they got rid of Hacienda Control. Now, again, this is kind of nitpicking at the smaller details, but maybe Hacienda not a map that they are completely comfortable with, or maybe just specifically that mode. I think a double Hacienda does make things really interesting because, as you alluded to, it could be a very open map, a very chaotic map. I think if you're a sub player, you can really revel in being able to get in between those angles and causing havoc, whether it's trying to flip through spawns or just get into these little angles and catch people on timings. But if you're an AR, there's plenty of places you can set up as well in regards to either holding a spawn or looking down a lane from point. It's sort of an all-encompassing map to where if you're a team who just has the ability to be firing on all cylinders together, then you can do a lot of damage. And then as well, going on to a Protocol Control, again, I think it's a similar theme that we're going to be seeing throughout the majority of this series, is that it's maps where subs can get in and do a lot of damage. A map that will reward you for giving an AR presence to be able to hold over a lane and lock something down. But a sub, you go to Protocol, if they can get underground, get up around the back of any particular point, they can completely undo a hold. So I think it's really going to be down to the subs on both of these teams to see how sort of integrated they can get to the map and how quickly they can get around other teams and disrupt their flow. I think that'll be the real difference maker for one of these teams here if they can take advantage of that.
I think that's a great thing to shout out there when we're kind of looking at some of the superstar players on each team. Who should we be looking out for? I think having the subs really be able to be a couple of those pairs of players that can really come online. We've seen teams get make or broken by just the ability for their sub players to play together, to figure out how they want to maneuver around the map. Hacienda, a map that is great to showcase that, should give us a definitely good idea of what we can see in the rest of this series there. Two formidable opponents going up against each other, Cumberland Phoenix and UT Chattanooga. Like you mentioned at the top of the show, both currently 8-1. Some very solid records here after the restructuring, but one of them will have to get dropped on down. So let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hop on into game number 1. It is Hacienda Hardpoint as we get ready to kickstart this first match of the day. If this is your first time tuning into College COD, don't worry. We got 2 other series after this along the way. So plenty of opportunity to see some action go on here today. It's going to be fantastic. We got Arizona State. We got the Aggies in map number 2. and OU Esports taking on UTA Esports and our third series of the day. Let's kick this one off here, Zep. Hacienda, Chattanooga, Cumberland Phoenix.
Yeah, and so far, P1, exactly as you'd expect. Checkerboard or kill feed, completely chaotic, but it's Chattanooga currently sitting on the point, getting that initial time, but not for long. Nade coming in, ripping him off straight away, but still managing to get on the time and to hold. Getting a lot of P1 time is not something you see too much on this map, so the fact that they're already on that, racking up some time, potentially dealing with some of the damage that may be done against them against P2 if they can't get the spawns, but in saying that, they do have plenty of time still to get pushed up, but this has been a surprisingly clean hold on P1. Cumberland Phoenix are going to be looking to regain here in P2 as the Drake picks up a nice 2 on the rotation there, so should have this completely locked down now and a bit of scrap to go with it. Chattanooga started out really well, but Cumberland Phoenix already after this P1 hitting the regain, getting ready to lock down a huge P2.
You've done all this work if you are Chattanooga to gain some of these early points, hold those spawns, and it's just off of a fantastic 2-piece from Drake. It kind of sets you back on up here. So we move on over towards this Lambo P2. It's going to be an early opening from Shinobi to bring them on down. And it's a Corona with a trophy system already getting invested. Makes your way onto the point. It's a fantastic one, but you're going to get cut on down thanks to those back spawns coming on in from Cumberland Phoenix. You work so hard if you are Chattanooga to gain some of this space here, but it's just these spawns for Cumberland Phoenix helping them basically flip, get on in here. They've gained a lot of this time. They're now here on the lead. Down to the final 22 seconds, you got to start thinking about rotating towards new.
Absolutely, and that was a great read from Honor there to get that kill. I mean, Chattanooga were pushed up really close. They could again made that kill feed checkerboarded, but had it favor their way, but you had Honor who managed to play the double, and now Cumberland Phoenix in a position where they are able to slay out from the point and get ready for those rotations, which if you take a look as well, I believe you have Lewis around the back. How Cumberland Phoenix have been able to come off P2 and get completely set up around for P3 with no real opposition is a strange one, but I'm sure they're going to take full advantage of that as Red Chase gets ripped. And when it comes to the map control and who's just dictating the flow and the spawns and where people are coming from and just having that overall lockdown, Cumberland Phoenix are having way more joy here early on. Definitely feeling warmer when it comes to that map control aspect.
Yeah, I mean, we watched UT Chattanooga when this P3 pops. They're spawning way in the back. They work their way through middle of the map to kind of try and go ahead and get this flip. And, well, it was a flurry of kills back and forth. All of their fight has definitely paid on out. They are here now. They've been able to get on top of the point. But the thing is, you did all of this work to get on top of the setup, and you are cut down by a couple of members of Cumberland Phoenix. So, yes, you'll be able to soak some in here, make it close. It's not going to be enough. Rock Hill spawning on up. We already have Drake trying to play forward. Does not make the read. It's Shinobi clearing it on out. Trades back and forth. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like it's Honor who is here. But do you make the read that you got Corona coming from behind? You do. It's a huge, crucial gunfight. You win. Cumberland Phoenix makes their way on to the point. It's still very close between these two teams, but we know that it's this Rock Hill that teams can start to run away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the score has been pretty close so far, but Cumberland Phoenix just so often coming on top of those gunfights, always just having that last player alive, making sure to stay up. But Chattanooga also making sure to get time where they can to keep themselves in it and not letting their heads drop when they don't initially get onto a point straight away, right? And if they can nullify Cal, who, mind you, is 19-8 now with already 40 seconds on hill, the most amount of time for his type, 20 kills now, just keeps going. I mean, if Chattanooga managed to nullify that particular player and start to build up some of their players themselves, looking at Corona's had a relatively slow start. There's so much room in this game for Chattanooga to improve, whereas Cumberland Phoenix, we're kind of seeing them already firing off, but can they do this for a full map?
Second set of rotations coming on in. It will be UT Chattanooga making their way onto the point. This is what we saw in that first rotation where they were able to secure a fair amount of it, and then they started working for that P2, but it looks like they won't be able to hold onto this for too long. Chattanooga spawning out a little bit here, and yeah, you want to set up for this P2. Even though you still have 30 seconds away, you really want to try and hold down some of these spawns. You can tell it's basically everybody just trying to fight for them. Nobody really caring about getting on the point, right?
Yeah,
Chattanooga, they've been able to do it.
It's crazy kind of looking at the way this game is playing so far, because the KDs are so spread out across all of these players, right? And I mean, these are both teams who are 8-1, so definitely proving that they are teams who are able to beat a lot of teams, but having such a split KD across the team is very bizarre, and it shows that the way that this game is playing, it's sort of ending up very checkerboarded and very singular at times, rather than teams getting a clean 4 down and getting a clean hold from it. It ends up being very chaotic with sort of the top players, and they end up being left in 1v1, 1v2 scenarios, and then going back and forth to who comes out on top. And it's usually Cal, given the fact he's the one with the most kills at the moment, with now over a minute on the hill as well. So it's very important to note with that is that he's picking up those kills and then making them count by being on the point. They're not just territory kills, playing around the spawns, playing around different angles. He is getting them where they matter most.
Love the call out there. It's always about being able to convert those kills into objective time. It looks like Cumberland Phoenix, they've been able to do a great job making that happen, but UT Chattanooga, they're not going to make it easy. They're keeping this one close. Lewis makes their way onto the hill, and as we get to the final couple seconds of it, starting to see the spawns come on up. You're going to have P3 coming on in here. And look at this, UT Chattanooga already making their way to the other side of the map. Not a lot of time left on this hill, and in Cumberland Phoenix, they spent a lot of effort trying to hit old here. And well, you got Chattanooga, they've already made their way on to new, and I don't know if it mattered.
Yeah, I mean, Cumberland Phoenix done a great job with the rotation there again, but something that is very surprising to see is that for all the hard work Cumberland Phoenix are doing and for how dominant they look in moments, they're not that far ahead. Only one clean hold here completely changes the outlook of this game, and that's going to become more and more crucial as we get towards the end, closer to that 250 mark. If Chattanooga can keep themselves in this one, all they need is one hold, one clean wipe to be able to set themselves up with a read on spawn, to be able to lock a point down, and all of a sudden have Cumberland Phoenix chasing the game frantically towards the end, where you can maybe push them into positions where they're not going to be as effective. But again, you have moments like this constantly. Honor, the last left up, is able to get the kill and continue to get a bit of time. Chattanooga need to turn those situations into ones where they're the ones with that final player left up, getting that 15-20 before the next push.
Well, you had one player who was left on the point. The rest of the team spawns on up. Cal putting the squad on the back. 31-14. Looking absolutely crazy right now. Just trying to do their best to really help the team come alive. You get the slide on out. Thankfully, the trades are there. Rock will spawn up. And, well, you've already started gaining some of this. This is where we saw Cumberland Phoenix really come out on top, really do a great job of kind of peel away some of this lead. So yes, through this second set, UT Chattanooga, they've done a great job of keeping themselves in it, but this could be the point where Cumberland Phoenix really runs away. And basically at that point, you just have to not give up any of these hills on this third set. Really make sure you can kind of just hold it on through and be able to march your way towards the end, especially when you're getting some of these close spawns, winning these crucial gunfights. Corona trying to do their best to stay alive. It's just not in the cards. Thankfully, Drake will be able to help secure that. Only 10 seconds left on this point as we get ready to go back to P1.
Yeah, this has been a huge hold for Cumberland Phoenix, and for a second there it looked pretty dangerous. I thought they had the hill locked down early on, but Chattanooga were able to get on point and contest it for a while, but it was one of those make or break hills where Cumberland Phoenix were just ultimately able to hold it, and now with a decent lead will be fancying themselves to come away with the victory. But remember, the first P1 on this point, Chattanooga actually done a good job of holding down P1, and they were doing so there again initially, but another 3-down situation now as Cumberland Phoenix will be looking to get over the 200 point mark on this point and rotate successfully to P2. If they manage to do that, it's going to be too much for Chattanooga to be able to do anything about it. But so far, they are still fighting. They are trying to make this P1 point scrappy, and they do have the spawns. It's whether or not they are aware of the push that's coming through and making sure that they hold the spawns. A lot is going to come down to Shinobi, who's just spawned up a P2 as he rotates into lobby. Horrible timing may happen against him here, as it looks like 2 players have rotated around behind him, and just like that, Cumberland Phoenix most likely have those spawns locked down for P2.
Yeah, Shinobi off the spawn almost makes a great play, but it's a good read from Cumberland Phoenix to cut them on down and try and hold this P2 on in. It will come on up, and you can see, looking at that mini map, Chattanooga, they're going to have to try and bang this thing from the front, but I love this. You got Drake kind of trying to play cutoff here, stop them as the rest of the team is going in. Yeah, you find one. Do you find a second? No, you don't, but you've already done the damage that you need. A great play from Drake to play the cutoff will allow Cumberland Phoenix on up, and I like this. Honor sliding on forward, 29-19, having a fantastic map. The trades are there, and look who's still on point absolutely cooking right now. It is Cal, Jackal PDW in hand. You find one, you snap to the second. You're coming alive. That might have been a potential just dagger into the hearts of UT Chattanooga here in map number 1. As you do a great job holding this one on down, you're only going to need a few remaining seconds to take map 1.
I mean, Cal is just firing it off on all cylinders. 44-19 on a 6 streak, over 2 minutes in point. What more could you ask for? A jack of all trades, to say the least. As they do lock down this time, they are on the next point. The Hellstorm coming in to make sure to just do the final damage, get that nail in the coffin, and secure Cumberland Phoenix this map number 1. And I have to say, towards the back half of that hard point, they played that to perfection. Chattanooga done a great job of staying into things for the length of time that they did. But you can only stay in it for so long. You've got to make that move to take the lead. And once they realized that they were never really getting beyond that 20-30 points deficit behind Cumberland Phoenix, it just felt like that they weren't able to switch it at all. Cumberland Phoenix, they just turned up another gear. You Cal completely popping off. And as you see there, 33 non-traded kills, 4,600 damage, a level above every single player on that roster.
Absolutely wild. A lot of good work from the other team members there as well. But you got to imagine, if you are some of the some of the team members there as a part of Cumberland Phoenix, you're probably feeling pretty good about Cal popping off. Definitely helps make the rest of the map a little bit easier for you. But we saw some moments of greatness from a lot of players on that team. I go back to that Drake play where he goes through mid and he plays cutoff towards Rock, ensuring that basically that P2 hill to really nail in the coffin, this is the map number 1 for them, goes out and is huge. You have Cal going huge, and obviously Honor. There were a couple moments there where he's pulling off 2 pieces that really just helped keep them into the game. I got to give some respect out of UT Chattanooga. I think they definitely kept it a lot closer, but it felt like there were a couple of those minor moments where you're just not making the reads, you're just not making the right play, that really just kind of come on down and come back to bite you, right? And end up you not being able to convert some of those kills towards hill time, and that is always so important. Zep, anything else you notice off that map number 1 here between these two teams?
Well, what I noticed is it's purely just why Cumberland Phoenix have been so successful on that map, and Chattanooga, because it has to be said, Cumberland Phoenix, if they've had players like Cal popping off pretty consistently when it comes to the hard points, no wonder they've been able to go through a lot of teams and be in the position that they're in. But in the same time, Chattanooga, really scrappy team in the sense that for a long time they were able to stay in it. Cumberland Phoenix were slaying out relatively early, and yet still you were never seeing the points go beyond a 20-30 point deficit. It was always being kept relatively close until around the second time we were on that P4, which, as you pointed out before, it kind of can be a nail in the coffin type of point, one of those points where you lock it down and really set yourself as that point to come away with things. As you take a look as well here on the score, it was relatively close until a certain point, sort of back and forth, all even, and then towards the end it just starts to soar towards the side of Cumberland Phoenix. But it does also show as well that I think Cumberland Phoenix are a type of side where if you can get your team firing on all cylinders against them, then they are beatable, right? Because they were relying on one player absolutely popping off. You can only do that for so long. So for Chattanooga, they could really kind of bring themselves back together now and realize, hey, we could go on to search and destroy, and if we're able to bunch up, we may be able to take on this opposition, and we also know how strong we are on control. So plenty of positives for them to take into the rest of the series. But for now, Cumberland Phoenix, I'm sure they'll be feeling very happy with where they are leading up to this search and destroy.
Yeah, and when we kind of take a look at that head-to-head, we saw that it was Chattanooga. Search and Destroy was not their favorite game mode. They were 5-2, obviously, so far in that game mode. And so it's not looking great, whereas it's 8-1 for Cumberland Phoenix, that is here. Okay, so I feel like if you are UT Chattanooga, you're probably looking at that map number 1, and hopefully you're saying, okay, hey, there were some small mistakes. You know, we know what we need to do to kind of clean up that Hacienda map. It's got to just be roll off the back, and next thing you know, you got to prepare on in for the search and destroy that's coming on in here, right? Because if you are going to try and keep yourself into this, well, you mentioned it was probably going to be off the back of a lot of these respawns. Okay, well, you lost the first one in the series. Gotta lock on in for at least the search and destroy. You're looking pretty good on control. So you hit this search and destroy, nab that control, and then maybe put your sights towards that vault hardpoint on map number 4, which it will be pretty interesting to see how that one goes and plays out between these two teams, because I feel like we're seeing some similarities between them as it comes on out here. But Hacienda search and destroy. Let's talk about this map a little bit here, Zep, because I think one thing that we've seen people have really fantastic setups on this map, right? Really some nice, fantastic, complicated stuff. We've also seen people literally 4-hit top haul and somehow work out in the end that's there. So let's go ahead. If you're UT Chattanooga, you're coming into the search and destroy, what are maybe some of the strats you want to try and engage to really try and shut down Cumberland Phoenix, who's looking pretty hot right now?
Well, I think with a map like Hacienda Search and Destroy, it's one of those rarities in Search and Destroy in Black Ops 6 where it actually gives you variety in terms of what you're able to do, in terms of actually being able to do it strongly, right? I mean, the complete opposite of that would be a Vault Search and Destroy, where yes, you have the B-bomb as sort of an outlier, but most of the time, 99% of the time, if you're the stronger team, what you kind of have to do, even if you're a weaker team, you don't have much more of an option. You have to go towards A, push in quick, get that bomb down. Hacienda Search and Destroy, however, is completely different. As you said, you have the option to 4-stack through mid around those top lanes, or you can maybe hit something through A, hit something through B, or even split across the map, try and play a pick. So you have options, you have variety. Chattanooga are going to need to take advantage of being able to rely on variety, of being able to rely on the fact that they will not have one play work against them and all of a sudden be worried that that play is going to be done every single time and there'll be nothing they'll be able to do about it. They'll be able to try things, see if something works out, sacrifice a few rounds here and there, most likely gain a few rounds here and there, have it back and forth to the point where maybe they can sneak it. I think it's very obvious to see from how this is played and from the records that they are going to be a team that is on the back foot in this one, but Search and Destroy is truly a mode where anything can happen, and I think this map also encompasses that, so I wouldn't be writing them off in this one at all.
Well, let's see what we're going to have happen. It's Drake playing towards this top, already getting some early shots onto Shinobu, but you have a couple of these members of UT Chattanooga playing underneath him. It's going to be Corona claiming first blood onto Honor, but it's a quick trade from Drake on the top. As you can see, Chattanooga, they've done this great job. They've flown on forward directly through mid, kind of flipped the map on their head, but it feels like Drake maybe made some of this read here. Some great shots on in. It won't result in elimination. You've kind of sucked him back here, and it's a huge two-piece from Louis as he brings down Jason Shinobi. Yokai is here to answer on back, though. It's a 1v1. Yokai and Cal, and it's not too long, though. Cal clutches on up. Round number 1 going to Cumberland Phoenix.
Oh my, that was a massive round for Chattanooga. Cumberland Phoenix rescuing that one, and credit to them for doing so, but Chattanooga just getting a little bit too comfortable in the fact that they got pushed up to office. At one point, it seemed like that they were just taking advantage of being able to get pushed up quick and were maybe going to be able to do some damage. But if anything, it looked like that they just got boxed in at some point, and that's where the picks came in. They weren't watching all the lanes, and they just got really punished for that. That round really was theirs for the taking, and of course a 1v1 that could have gone either which way. But Chattanooga, I think, will be kicking themselves after that one. They've proven that they can take these rounds.
Well, a very good play from Louis there in round number 1. Now you're on the offense. Some heavy movement over towards B as well, both teams kind of just cycling around each other for right now. I'm taking a look at a Yokai who's managed to kind of slip through. Do you find any information on this side of the map? Well, you'll get some information, but it's off of the back of you taking your life away. Maybe a 4v3, but they don't let the plant come on in.
Huge kills coming in now as well from Cumberland Phoenix and Chattanooga. Really finding themselves in the back foot, and just like that, taken out. And Cumberland Phoenix played that round with a little bit more confidence, definitely seemingly looking stronger, at least on the offense. But I wonder if Chattanooga is going to let that get into their heads. There are a couple of rounds down. That round didn't look good for them, as the pistol is actually what does the damage there, and they end up in, I think next round is a massive swing round already. If Chattanooga go 3-0 down here, things are going to be looking dire, not just for the map, but for the series as a whole. They can't let this Cumberland Phoenix side gain momentum, because we've seen what they can do when they have momentum, especially Cal, already 5-0.
Yeah, I was about to just say MVP of map number 1, quickly becoming MVP of map number 2 already. But we're only 2 rounds in. I like your call out. I think this is a huge round for UT Chattanooga to make sure that they are keeping on in it. We can see they've all kind of bunched up here, going for a similar strat that Cumberland just executed in that last round, but the read has come on through as some of these shots already going on in. Drake will claim first blood onto Shinobi. Corona looking back towards Lambo, making sure nobody's making one of these sneaky trades here, but you've set up this cross, but it's not going to be enough. You turn your head, you get cut on down, 2 of you are dead, and just like that, you thought you had the setup. UT Chattanooga looking confident, but it is just some well-timed pushes from Cumberland Phoenix. Just absolutely dismantle what you had. Zep, they're all set up for the crossfire, everything they need. In the blink of an eye, we just watch it go to dust.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just shows why Cumberland Phoenix are such a strong side, why they have that record in Search and Destroy. It doesn't matter if the setup is there. If it's there, we know how to take it down. Chattanooga can't rely on getting that bomb down quick and relying on pure 1v1 gunfights and setup, because Cumberland Phoenix had already proven prior and definitely proved there that they're the better side in doing that. They need to make this game scrappy. They need to go around angles, need to not rely on the bomb plant as much. They need to rely on flanks, getting picks, and give themselves at the very least a numbers advantage.
We said last round was so important to win. This is going to be another one. Thankfully, Yokai is come on over here, and very quickly this has become a 1v4. Cal makes it a 1v3. Bomb is down. You find another one in the mid fountain. Cal, if there's anybody on this team for Cumberland Phoenix, we know who might be able to pull this off. It's the man on your screen right now. 7-0. This is looking crazy. If you're Chattanooga, play together. Play together. I don't think you are, but Cal almost does it. But thankfully, it's some good shots. Finally, you get a round on the board. But I don't know if you feel good about getting that round. Shinobi almost loses that gunfight. Would put Cal into a 1v1. Absolute insanity.
Well, I'm sure Cal will be gutted as well, because as far as I'm aware, he was one kill, if not just a little more, off being able to get that Hellstorm score streak on top of an RCXD. That would have been huge on a map like this, given the fact that both of those bomb sites are located outdoors. But nevertheless, I'm sure very happy with where they are at the moment, and we'll just be looking at that round as a little bit of a blip. But that's what Chattanooga have to do. They have to shake things up, even if it means getting ultra aggressive or ultra defensive, just doing something differently, not relying on static 4 pushes that you see a lot of teams do. They have to switch things up. But Louis already getting that first blood. Chattanooga not in a good spot, as I believe an RCXD is already on the chase through this rock side. That could do some real damage, but bomb's going down in A. 3v4 defense now. This is going to be a very difficult couple of seconds now for Chattanooga.
Yeah, Yokai can hear that going off. I like this. A little bit of trigger discipline, a little bit of patience. You'll move on forward. You'll find one, but the trade immediately comes on in. It's a 3v1. Red Chase last alive. You're getting some shots in top, so that'll let them know exactly where you are. A player jumps out on top. Doesn't really matter, though, as you will get traded on out. That is a bomb defuse 4-1 right now for Cumberland Phoenix. I like that you brought it up, because the one round that Cumberland Phoenix did not take on down, it felt less like UT Chattanooga outplaying them and more like Cumberland Phoenix kind of throwing the round away, which is not what you want to have, right? It's not one of those rounds that you feel good about winning. It's just like, oh, wow, you take a deep breath that you won that gunfight and you feel good. They do invest at RCXD, though, in that round if you are Cumberland Phoenix, which I think is definitely worthwhile. You're now here on the attacking side, trying to be able to put this on a map point.
Well, I mean, Chattanooga, I just can't understand why they played for the bomb plant in a 3v4. Again, already proven that they struggle with the numbers up when Cumberland Phoenix know where they are, and they would have been able to get into back spawn as well with someone in that RCXD, or at least made a play for it. But vital round for them now to try and lock up on this defense, and so far being able to kind of hold them back from this B point, but for how long, getting the first blood as well, setting themselves up well. But the trades coming in back and forth now. 3v2 make the 2v1. It's all up to honor for Cumberland Phoenix.
Bomb is down. Both players playing alongside there. You got Red Chase looking down at the bottom. Honor just trying to make sure maybe you can catch anybody on a timing, and I kind of like this. Go for the crawl, pick up that bomb, go to the other bomb site, make them come to you. You have the time. Check your angles, check your corners, make sure nobody's lurking really close by. As you can see here, they have been able to stick around this bomb site. I thought he was going to make his way over to A, but Honor has made the call. Come on over here. You get some early shots on in. You know that's going to bring Yokai over to look over you. Red Chase goes ahead, backs on up, and, well, you had all the opportunity to go plant the bomb. You don't anymore. Honor in the 1v2. This would have to be huge. 2 kills to be able to snag. Isn't able to do it. Chattanooga, learning from their earlier round, play together there in that situation. We'll grab their second.
Yeah, terrific from them. I love the kind of nerves of steel to make sure not to rotate over to B at all. Just really goading Honor into saying, hey, if you want to go for that plant, you're going to have to go away, and we will happily rotate together and hold hands for the retake. But if you're trying to get to B, you're going to have to come through us. And Honor constantly baiting and goading, trying to make it so that he goes for the little peek and makes Chattanooga think he's going to rotate to A now, let's get around. But then Honor just constantly coming back to B, and Chattanooga constantly setting up shop there. Great play for them to take back that round.
Signs of life here from Chattanooga. This would be a huge round to win. Stop the bleeding, make it close. Okay, though. Oh my God, Honor holds it on in. You get traded out, but I don't know if it super matters as well. Cumberland Phoenix is just a flurry of trades that come on in and give us a quick round. Put us on map point 5-2. Looks like it was Lewis is going to be the last one to claim this. Yeah, it was Yokai trying to make an exit around that rock. A little bit too much going on there, but thankfully some quick thinking from Lewis brings them on in. 5-2 here, Zep. This could be a pretty fast map number 2.
Yeah, it's looking all but done. I mean, you cannot be dropping rounds like that, especially in a 2-4 scenario. Now having to rescue 4 rounds in a row if they want to get anything from this one, and there will certainly be more than just a little bit of luck involved in that if they're able to do so, because Cumberland Phoenix have barely broken a sweat in this map, all things considered. Now on the offense, going on the aggression, getting that first blood, and very much looking like they'll be wrapping it up here.
3v3. Shots in the back. Okay, Lewis not able to get the turn on them, so Yokai will find a huge elimination there. Cal doesn't even realize Red Chase is sitting in a corner, and just like that, Drake in the 1v3. Are you gonna be able to make it happen? 3 shots on in, you find another, and you somehow get on out of here. Okay, wait, but Red Chase might have you on the fence line. You did. Signs of life were there, but Chattanooga, they'll get their 3rd round on the board. A little bit of an overheat right there from Cumberland Phoenix. Obviously, you got a couple rounds to play with, though, but it's just some great trades coming in from Chattanooga. I like this little cross-up they set here. Corona finding that elimination, helping keep them in there. So the map's not over yet. I mean, got a little bit.
Chattanooga taking full advantage of my caster curse there. I just need a couple of more rounds of me saying Cumberland Phoenix have it all wrapped up, and maybe the comeback is on. But again, they've proven in moments plenty of times that when it comes to individual rounds, individual moments, they have the ability to do so, but it's stringing it together consistently, I think, has been a massive issue for them. They need to get something going a few rounds in a row, but this push has led to the double, and they're switching things up at a vital moment where surely this trade comes in, and another round is practically theirs.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to get cute with it. It's like, hey, we only need to win 1 round. Let's, try and do something, catch them off guard, rather than just stick with what's been working so far in these last 2 rounds. Chattanooga, I give them some criticism earlier where I said, you won this round, but it doesn't feel like you won it. It felt more like Cumberland Phoenix slipped up. These last 2 rounds, though, I will give them credit. This is where Chattanooga has come to play and is actually showing like they know what they're doing. 1 round away from us going to a round 11. Very possible now. Cumberland Phoenix probably kind of shaking their heads a little bit, saying, hey, what happened? You're here on the offense. Let's go ahead. Let's see what the strat is, as we're starting to see some movement here through mid towards this top hall. And, well, the trades are in there. It will end up into the side of UT Chattanooga, Honor and Drake in the 2v3.
Well, let's try this again, folks, shall we? Cumberland Phoenix have it all wrapped up. All right, let's see what happens from here. I mean, 3v2, not a position that you want to be in, but again, Honor and Drake, players who are no slouches, but Cal being dead already is going to be a huge loss in this round as the pace slows down, and maybe both of these teams are going to begin to feel the pressure as the confidence ramps for Chattanooga, but that is a huge kill to come through for Honor. 2v2 now, massive round.
You can see UT Chattanooga, they are not maneuvering around here, but Honor is the one who has no problem getting active. Oh, you might have a chance here. It depends how you throw the shoulder. You do. You actually get a lot of info and you stay alive. Clock is not on your side, though. Honor, you have to make it happen. You slide on forward. Corona getting taken on out, but Drake, can you find Red Chase here? The shots are in. The Jackal PDW. You decide to go low. Not even on the chase up top. You only have 12 seconds. You got to start moving. You got 16 bullets. Definitely enough. On the staircase, it's not there. Chattanooga got a little bit spicy, but they push us to around 11. It was not too long ago, man, that we thought this map was done and dusted, but Chattanooga, wake on up. They shake the sleepies from their eyes. They lock it on in to push it to around 11.
Chattanooga from the depths of despair. As you said, now just one round away. And I wonder how much of this has been Chattanooga just switching up a gear and Cumberland Phoenix just going down a gear. I'd almost argue it's a little bit of both. But the first blood's often now going the way of Chattanooga, but they need to make sure that that is the case here. If they get first blood in this round, they're in massive trouble, especially given the fact that they're on offense. Aggressive on the mid. Let's see if it pays off.
We do see already some quick moves on up. It's two members from Chattanooga. They've already made their way on through on the back. Number 8, Cal, can you turn and maybe find this here? No, you're looking the wrong way. Red Chase takes down Cal into the first blood. A huge elimination. Drake now from the plat, trying to see. Can you hold this in? Corona, this would be a huge one. It's not there, but the trades come on through. 2v3, Lewis and Honor. It's all up to you. Try and bring this one on home. Do you manage to get the kill? No, you don't. Somehow they managed to slip away. 20 seconds on the clock. Cumberland Phoenix, you have to start moving. Honor does find one, though. Drop on down here. Play this as a team, but it doesn't matter when both of you get cut on down. UT Chattanooga, backs against the wall. They answer the call here to win the round 11. Take map number 2, Hacienda.
Chattanooga, I wonder if they surprised themselves as much of this as they surprised us, because let's face it, that was a different team that we've seen in that last few rounds. Not only were they picking up the kills, getting the first bloods, playing together, they were also making sure to play their lives. How many times did we see them do so? Over on the B bomb, over when it came to rotating towards bombs, making sure to at the very least get each other's trades, and even there in the final round, bomb getting planted, and then just making sure that gunfight up top. Hey, I'm not going to re-chal, I don't have to re-engage, I'm hopping out mid and I'm getting away from this gunfight. It is a 3v2, but I'm not taking chances, I'm running down the clock. And Chattanooga just really turned it around and had the perfect balance of when to take chances and when to not, because as I said, they didn't take chances up top, but they certainly took chances at the beginning of the round there, as we've seen in round 11, absolutely bombing it down through mid to get round the back, which was pivotal in them getting their first blood. They just started playing everything to perfection and maybe having a little bit of timing, a little bit of luck go their way in terms of who's watching what on the angles, but in Search and Destroy, you're always going to need a little bit of that.
I mean, look at this graph. I think this really just tells the story. It's those first 5 rounds, right, where it looked like it was Cumberland Phoenix. They're getting all of the eliminations. They're getting first blood in most of those rounds. But it's kind of off those few rounds where finally UT Chattanooga, they start getting these first bloods going their way, that they're finally able to convert that into some of these round wins. I think once they kind of were putting themselves in these positive man advantages, they just were able to play a lot more confident on the map. Straight up 4v4, I think they weren't feeling great, but they were able to kind of win some of those early gunfights. And now you're looking at a 4v3. Okay, that is a lot different to make happen. Some great work coming out of UT Chattanooga. Zep, I gotta say, I think we have a series on our hands. Love that. We're going at least to a game number 4, that vault hardpoint that's there. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick break before we hop on in, of course, to this protocol control. But before we go, I want to kind of let you guys know a little bit of fun news. If you missed the announcement on social media, yes, the College COD League is now partnered with Scuff. So definitely go ahead. If you want to rise to the top of the class with Scuff, guess what, everybody? You now have the exclusive controller partner of College COD, Scuff, here to help you on out. Fantastic. Love that they're able to come on in, support College COD. I know if you are in the market for a controller, these are the people you'll want on your back. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, give you an opportunity. Go check out some of those amazing Scuff products. When we come back, we're going to be hopping into map number 3. Here we go, everybody. 2 maps down as we get ready to head into a protocol control. If you're just joining us here on the College COD, you missed 2 great maps. It was, well, of course, Cumberland Phoenix kind of swinging in a hard point on Hacienda. And well, as we moved on into the search and destroy, it was looking like it was going to be a quick 6-2 that was there. But Chattanooga do a great job answering the call. They come on back and take map number 2 in a 6-5. Zep, we are joining on up for a protocol control, a game mode that UT Chattanooga actually has a better record in, currently 7-0. Do we think we see them continue the streak here against Cumberland Phoenix, or will Cumberland Phoenix, you think, maybe give them their first loss in the game mode?
Well, I mean, I think they are poised to continue. I mean, finding a new lease of life when it mattered most in that search and destroy, and I'm sure we'll be looking to continue that vein of form going into the protocol control. However, and this is a big however, protocol control is a map that punishes you if you get 3 downed or 4 downed and you lose that middle section control, if you lose control of your house on either side. And who's a player that's been slaying out more than any other player on any side consistently throughout the course of this series so far? It has been Cal. I mean, ridiculous numbers on the hard point, some really strong numbers on the search and destroy as well. If they can get pushed up aggressively and get a wave of kills, Cal is going to wreak havoc in either side of those spawns. So Chattanooga need to make sure to stem the flow of bleeding if it happens and make sure not to let Cal pop off.
Yeah, definitely cannot allow yourself to get put into this spawn trap either, that we know can happen very easily. And after some fast engagements already, Cumberland Phoenix, I thought very quickly they were about to get put into that spawn trap, and well, maybe they are, as Shinobi will put their sights towards the skies, brings down one, you hit the zip. Well, you got a Ninja Turtle waiting for you at the top. Unfortunate for you, you are taken on out. Cumberland Phoenix doing a great job making sure that they're going to hold this one on in. Corona trying to do something there in that mid, but won't happen for now. Cumberland Phoenix, you got 40 seconds on the clock here. You are up 1 in the life lead. You're getting a couple down on in. Well, it looks like a quick rotation over towards A. They're going to start stacking up some of this time.
Yeah, I mean, Chattanooga very much have left this A time, which is bizarre. They're just trying to get pushed up now, it seems, up the zip, which maybe was the play all along. They want to get control of top to get a wave of kills, then instantly go towards the spawn, but they need to make this count or else they are in real trouble, as Red Chase is just trying to find a pick on that point. He won't be able to pick up one, and will he get shot in the back? It actually doesn't look like it. He's going to be able to hold up, and now 3 down. Massive moment for Chattanooga as they'll look to continue to push up and Cumberland Phoenix spawn over towards that B side. Corona could catch them off guard, and he does with a kill. Chattanooga maybe in the starting process of being able to box in Cumberland Phoenix as they are running out of time quickly. 15 seconds left to go, and another 3 down. They've got to push out, and they've got to do so rapidly.
It's going to be tough. You do have Lewis has made their way on out, but you could kind of hold back these final 3 players. 5 seconds here on the clock. I don't know if it's enough. You have to full sprint at this point, and Shinobi is going to make it difficult. Will not let you do this. It's a flurry of kills. Honor has stopped the clock with 0.2 on it. It's just not enough. Round number 1, it goes towards UT Chattanooga. Cumberland Phoenix, they'll get 1 tick of progress on that round, and not exactly the best round you'd like to have if you're losing on the attack. At least would like to feel good that you were able to capture 1 point, you know, get those 3 ticks on the board, but only 1. That could definitely be come back to bite them when we potentially go into these later rounds.
Yeah, I mean, Chattanooga, I mean, they played that so well. I mean, I did question at one point why they were pushing B, and then they instantly proved me wrong just by being able to get control over that top, and they were never overzealous in their pushes. They made sure to constantly pick up the right things at the right time, and already proven why they have such a good control record. I imagine this may have been their map pick as well, which will be something that we should get into before that map number 4, why they may have avoided Vault, a more common map that a lot of teams have been picking up. But for now, Chattanooga very much in the driver's seat, playing how they want on a map that they wanted, but they need to continue to allow this one to pay off for them.
Well, this is definitely a great way to do it. Corona has made their way towards the top, has found a fantastic 2. While sitting here on the point, you got Red Chase being able to soak up some of that time. Finally, Corona will get found. Shinobi looking down on in from Upper Platte will get shot in the back. But for right now, you've already tied up on the ticks if you are Chattanooga very quickly. So you at least tied. Yeah, only 1 more tick at least would put you in the lead so far. But you would love to be able to secure down this point. You still have a minute on the clock. Plenty of opportunity to make it on happen. You're not getting spawn trapped just yet. You don't have to worry too much about it. You do have Honor Trying to make their way on into the back, forcing the spawns in a particular direction. Finds one and slides on forward. Okay, wait. If you are Chattanooga, you got to start worrying a little bit now, because you have so many members of Cumberland Phoenix just in your spawn holding you back.
Yeah, Chattanooga sort of having to deal with a spawn killer and then just a little bit of horrible timing up on that top as well, which has completely gotten rid of the control. However, they are getting pushed up towards this B. It is into the funnel that Cumberland Phoenix want, but if they can pick up the kills, they may be able to make the most of it with at least one more tick somewhere else. But only 20 seconds realistically left to get pushed forward, but that's a big 2 kills. Can they continue to do this? Lewis gets taken out as well. And now 17v15 down on the lives, but on A, also over onto B as well. Shinobi will be able to do some damage. Ticks going up on both sides. This is huge for Chattanooga now.
Yeah, you kind of have to keep your head on a swivel. Where do you want to play this on? It's just going to be a little bit of trades, and, well, it looks like A potentially might get captured here. It does. Okay, you add a minute onto the clock. You're definitely up in ticks now if you are Chattanooga, but if you can manage to convert this on over to B and go up 2-0 into the control, that would be fantastic. Cal, though, will stem the bleeding, does not let it happen. There's Lewis in the background just kind of farming right now. You put in all this work, you're immediately being put back in the blender if you are UT Chattanooga. Cumberland Phoenix trying to do their best to keep you back here.
Yeah, but Chattanooga, you have to give them so much credit for the amount of ticks they've been able to get out of this map when, again, or at this round, should I say, because there was 20 seconds left and they hadn't made any real progress towards any point, but a massive wave of kills toward that B side just completely opened it up for them to take the lead on ticks by, I believe, about 4-1 at the moment. And 6v4, they still do have a chance with a tick and a half gone at B as well. A wave of kills would do it for them, make that the full 2 ticks.
Ooh.
This is a massive moment for them.
Yeah, those are huge 2 kills. 4v3. Red Chase still on up. Nobody on the point. Yokai playing their life, trying to do their best. Drake will take them on down. It's going to be all up to Red Chase. Trying to find it, but you got 15 seconds. Has to try and run away. Maybe you can bait somebody on into this. Where's the help, though? Where's Corona? Well, you're getting found by Lewis. Red Chase, only one alive. Not going to be there. Cumberland Phoenix, they'll take the round. But if you are Chattanooga, you got some very solid ticks on the board. So you're feeling pretty solid about that. You're still winning in ticks right now, but at least Cumberland Phoenix comes down very close to the wire. They still manage to hold on, take that defense.
Yeah, I think Chattanooga are going to be very happy with the way they played that. Corona in with the beams here. And it has to be said, we're almost seeing a polar opposite of what we've seen between these two sides in game number 1. I mean, map 1, we've seen that Hacienda hardpoint, and it was just always a checkerboard kill feed that was going the way of Cumberland Phoenix. But now we're seeing a role reversal. We're always seeing that vital last kill go the way of Chattanooga, whether it's to get out of spawn or to get pushed up to point. The final kill that matters the most always seems to be going their way, but of course, still need to make sure they lock down a good defense here, and they can't let themselves get surprised by Cumberland Phoenix, who we know will be able to slay out if they get the opportunity to do so. But Corona already in the spawn here, looking to cause havoc, but for how long?
Oh, wow. Okay, I actually thought Honor was about to hit a nice little timing and be able to cut them on down, but looks like Cal might be the one to actually answer on back, and I kind of love this. You have Red Chase, just does not care, running around in the spawn. We'll finally get found on out, so give an opportunity for Cumberland Phoenix and maybe get on out of here. You have 2 members going on down, but 2 have managed to push through mid, in control of this house. Okay, Red Chase now on the look. Trying to figure out where did these players cut on through. You had Cal on the point. Lewis gets found as well. So for right now, I mean, Cumberland Phoenix are doing a great job not getting put into this blender, but you're making your way on out of it. And it's just, I'm seeing a hard time on where does it convert? Where are these kills allowing you some of this progress on the point?
Yeah, I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one. They are playing super conservative with their lives, getting into these power positions, but never actually taking the risk from there to get onto the point. Until now, we are seeing them pushing onto the point, which clever by them making sure that they were waiting until they had the exact right opportunity. But again, as soon as they overexpose themselves, as soon as they have to take that risk from coming off of a power position, Chattanooga are able to expose them and wipe them off the point pretty quickly. Better performance from Cumberland Phoenix in this round with 2 ticks, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough against this side, as they're quickly finding this control sort of starting to get away from them. but they have to make a push now or at least stop this clock. 12v14, if they can get on a point, there is a chance, albeit a slim one.
Oh, I like where Red Chase is playing. Will get cut on down, but it's all the information you need. You clear out a couple of those little bit of bits of progress there, but 3.7 on the clock, very reminiscent of round number 1. It's going to be Lewis on the point. I'm seeing it go on up, but can you manage to cut them on down? We'll have to wait and see. A little bit of an issue with the feed there, folks. No problem. We'll do confirmation of whether that game ended or what happened there. We definitely want to know, just like you, what went on in that round for sure. Okay, look, we're back into the action, baby. And they were actually okay in our slight hiccup. They capture A here, Zep.
What did we miss there? We've already gone 10 seconds.
Timing to IRL.
Yeah, literally. I mean, that was a bizarre one, but you have to give massive credit to Cumberland Phoenix for getting that cap, and they're making their lives count. 2v7, now 2v5. They need to stay up, though, and that was a massive life to drop, especially since you had time to work with to at least make it a 2v4. But now 1v5, Honor, he's going to be chasing this one. There's no way he gets anything done. We'll get a consolation kill before he's wiped off that point, and Chattanooga taking that defensive round. And forgive me because my math is horrible, but I believe that is now tied 4 ticks to 4, or actually is it 4 ticks to 5? Or Chattanooga still in the lead
I think
with
it's
ticks?
+1 to Chattanooga.
Yeah, so guaranteeing themselves a defense or a defense in the final round if it goes there. Chattanooga has to be said, they have turned a leaf in this series.
Yeah, I mean, this is it was off the back of that kind of run in the search and destroy. I think realizing that they can shoot back, that they can feel pretty solid already. But here we go, potential map point right now. It came down to the wire on the last offense from UT Chattanooga. Very real possibility they win an offensive round here. They can manage to clean up, I think, some of their eliminations. It came down to lives there, so they can get on out. This is huge, but it's 2 of your team members already going on down. Shinobi playing from the top trips, not able to find the eliminations that you're looking for. So already immediately off the break, it's 3 dead for UT Chattanooga, and Lewis is already now running rampant in your spawn and trying to find these spawners, push them out of very particular areas. Go ahead and hold them on back. Thankfully, Corona makes their way on out and finds a nice 2.
Corona has been absolutely popping off with that Ames up there in that top window. I mean, we've seen that in one of the kill cams, the best plays of the round in one of the previous rounds before, where they were absolutely just slaying on that top. Has been such a massive factor in dominating the center of that map, which of course, as you know, before going into this series and this map, we talked about how those ARs are the ones that win you the game, holding up those top areas, and it's up to the subs to get around and get underneath and disrupt that flow. Cumberland Phoenix just haven't had as much success in being able to disrupt that flow, being able to take those ARs off those key points, and because of that, Chattanooga have been able to hold those power positions and constantly rip Cumberland Phoenix off any opportunity they try to seize for themselves. I mean, coming from virtually spawn trap to now 21 and 21 just proves the power that Chattanooga have in this map of being able to control these lanes and control the flow of the game. But Cumberland Phoenix, they've had a couple of times now where they've gotten these 3 downs. They just need to get into spawn. They need to make it count. But of course, as we know, if they take this round, which is looking very likely, it's the next round that's going to matter the most.
Trade's going in the favor of UT Chattanooga, though. If they can get to this B side and manage to capture this point, you know, it's another minute added to the clock. But it's Honor. Finds one, will not let that happen. Finds another. That could be the end of the round. But it's going to be some progress at A for now. 13 seconds on the clock. You have to get them off right now. It is a 5 elimination lead for Cumberland Phoenix. And are you able to do it? No, it's a huge 2-piece from Chase. I mean, if you can get on here, if you can go ahead and stack it up and actually look at the minimap here, Zep, it's all 3 members starting to make their way over towards B. Yeah, leave Chase alone on A. Think that everybody has to pull on over, but you're losing B. Can you go ahead? Can you get this on down? No, it is a hero play that comes on through, but you get taken on out. Lewis is here. Finally, you cut them on down, but it's still some progress at A. While all of that fight is happening, you manage to get it, and it's half a tick you need at B, but you only have 1 life remaining for all 4 members of UT Chattanooga.
Yeah, it's got to be clean, but you have to commend Chattanooga on stretching the opposition back and forth between those points, locking down that A side. But needing to make the most out of the lives, and they do get a big 2 kills. Now, if they can just get stacked onto the point and make sure not to get two-pieced, they get the trade. They are sat on. Could they do it here? Massive gunfights coming in, and have they stolen this round?
What? Shinobi? A huge 2-piece? It's not enough. One final player coming on in. Chattanooga. Some fantastic back and forth play. Do not let Cumberland Phoenix get set up at all. You get some early progress on B. You get some progress on A. It's a last-ditch effort, and it's that play that we saw where all 3 members kept moved on over towards that B point while Chase is on A. Fantastic thinking from Chattanooga to keep that round on in, but it's some moments from Shinobi. Final few moments of the map, goes up huge, makes the necessary trades, clutches it on up in a 3-1. Absolutely wild.
Wild to say the least, and hats off to Chattanooga. I mean, they have proven right there and then why they are so good at the control. If you're wondering, based off that first hard point, you know, how they were able to be so good at the control, a map that also, you know, requires you to slay out from time to time, or mode, should I say. That's just the proof. They just make it work. They are so good at just controlling exactly what they need to do. And the difference between them, I mean, every time Cumberland Phoenix managed to get 3 down to 4 down and get into spawn, they were so aggressive with getting into spawn. And I feel like that's something a lot of us as players would do, right? As soon as you see that spawn open, you want to take full advantage, you want to get right in there, and they'd maybe get 1 or 2 from it, but would constantly get picked off and then all of a sudden find themselves back at square one. But Chattanooga, even if they had the opportunity to go to spawn, yeah, they get pushed up. Maybe they go in for 1, but they always seem to make sure to get rotated out. They always made sure to find themselves back into the key positions where they're holding down that line and giving themselves the opportunity to once again maybe push into spawn. It's almost like they just had a certain point on the map, whether that was over towards A or over towards B, where they were just able to constantly make sure of, yes, you may be able to get out of your worst scenario, but at best, you're just being pushed right back into the scenario you were in, where we were able to send you back into that worst scenario to begin with. So Cumberland Phoenix just never really had an opportunity to feel like they were in the driver's seat for any sort of time. And it looked like they were going to do enough to get through to that final round. But again, Chattanooga playing that stretch between A and B immaculately to get A. And then it just comes down to winning key gunfights, which they were able to do towards that mid, and coming in clutch at the very end to take that point.
Yeah, really, really fantastic stuff. Fantastic breakdown on how they were able to do that. Wild there at the end. I don't think you and I think we probably thought that one was probably going all the way to the final round. Would have made sense. Okay, great. You know, you fight for it. But Chattanooga coming on out, you know, we kind of said it where in that first offensive round, it came down to the wire. They were very close to making it happen. It was very possible they could take it. Well, somehow they bring it even more to the wire in the second offensive round, but are able to clutch it up. Some hero plays by Shinobi. We kickstarted this series with a fantastic Hacienda hardpoint by Cumberland Phoenix, and we kind of thought it was going to be their series, maybe potentially a quick 3-0. But hey, UT Chattanooga, they answer back in the Hacienda search and destroy. They take the protocol off of some hero plays. We're getting ready to move on in to the Vault hardpoint. And I'm trying to look at some of our notes here to see who picked. I don't know if we know who picked this Vault hardpoint, because I would be very curious about that to see how they are feeling about this map, right? When we kind of talk about some of the hardpoints that are there. Just looking at it, it kind of just feels like based on some of the bans alone, right? We have Cumberland Phoenix. They go ahead and they veto red card, not really wanting this big space taking hard point that's there. UT Chattanooga, they're going to go ahead and veto Skyline. Definitely a super mixy map that's there. Kind of has me wondering, do we think UT Chattanooga might struggle with some of these closer hardpoint maps? Because we know that's what can happen with Hacienda. Vault is a very similar sort of map that's there. I'll be kind of curious. I'm actually being told UT Chattanooga did pick this Vault hardpoint that's there. So kind of just takes everything I just said and throws it out the window. I'm terrible.
Well, as it happens, you know, we work with what we've got.
I'm trying to vamp, just trying to figure it out, you know, whatever. Thank you for putting us into game. Prove me wrong.
Well, you know, one thing to take into consideration as well as of this map 1 or this map 4 is getting underway, so I'll be quick, as Cumberland Phoenix are quick to absolutely mow down their opposition. But it's weird in the sense that UT Chattanooga, they banned control on this map, and control and hardpoint on this map I feel play very similar in terms of the qualities that you need to come out on top of this map. So the fact that they got rid of it is a cause of concern for me. But again, as you said, they picked it, so it does kind of null and void the point. I'll just be fascinated to see how they play on this one. But Cumberland Phoenix so far absolutely popping off to begin with. Clean holds on the point, clean wipes. It's only Chattanooga that were able to get 1 second on the point, but other than that, I mean, for a P1, this is a very clean hold for Cumberland Phoenix.
This is what we saw a fair amount of here in the Hacienda hardpoint. Cumberland Phoenix shaking off that control, trying to be able to hold on through, but Shinobi's going to pick up a huge 2-piece. Lewis gets a little bit of lost in the sauce, not able to hold it on in, so some great fight back right now from UT Chattanooga as P2 will come on up, and they are holding down this bathhouse. Yokai going to try and play that top angle. Hold it on down, but it's 3 dead in the feed for UT Chattanooga. It's just Chase left on the point, will get taken on out. So you've been able to hold a majority of the point, though. Cumberland Phoenix, they'll be able to gain some of this scrap time, but start making your way over towards P3. We see some of these members, they slip on through. Wait, this could be huge. You're getting some of the spawns here for your UT Chattanooga. Okay. You're feeling pretty solid. P3 comes on up. Chattanooga already making their way on over.
Yeah, Chattanooga with the rotations looking, slightly better with the map control at the moment, as you said, even though maybe not ahead on the score at the moment because of that P1. They held that P2 relatively well, got rotated well over towards this P3, and if they're able to get breaking towards this P4 whilst being able to get some time here, then things are going to start looking dangerous for Cumberland Phoenix. But I think we are seeing a team who does excel in hardpoint, as that is another 3 down for Cumberland Phoenix, and the way that they play on hardpoint, it just always seems to be the case that they are coming on top of the checkerboard of kill feeds. It's always going in their favor. If it's a 4-3 in the kills, the 4 is always in their favor. I mean, they're just constantly able to stay up, constantly being able to get themselves onto the point. But again, what we've seen from Chattanooga in that map 1 is also ringing true here, in the fact that even when they're in the back foot from time to time, they always keep themselves, at least for the first half of a hard point, in contention, always making sure that scoreline never gets too far forward. But as I'm saying that, these wipes are becoming cleaner for the side of the Phoenix, and now they are set up for P4, which, as we know, can be a horrible, horrible point to break unless you get an immaculate push going. Cumberland Phoenix, throughout that P3, now looking like a team who are getting more and more comfortable into the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just holding it on through. Drake with a 4 spree, feeling pretty solid right now. Chase struggling to get started right now. We thought it was Cal in map number 1 who was really going absolutely crazy. Well, here it's Drake, 19-3. Honor not too far behind as well, 12-5. You always love to see it when you have other members of the team really able to come online. And Cal, well, we're seeing that turret mode get activated. Absolutely cutting on down this lane, not letting anybody make their way on through as well. Blink of an eye, he's on 11-7 on a 3 spree. Currently, we can see Drake's on a 10. Doing some great work here. Yokai will eventually finally push up, takes down Cal, but the trades are in. Cumberland Phoenix, they are looking like a different team right now, Zep, showing us why they were able to win that map number 1, not letting map number 2 and 3 really shake them. They want to push this to a map number 5.
Well, Draken for the nuke, anyone? I mean, he is a third of the way there. He is absolutely popping off, and he lets the dream die. Thank you, Drake, Draken, whatever your name is. I was beginning to get hopeful there, but 21-4, that is no KD to slouch about either. Make that 22, just continuing to pop off. Honor now on the 6. Cumberland over 100 points in the lead, 110 in fact, and they are completely in this driver's seat. Chattanooga cannot get a look in at this map. I mean, it is very clear Cumberland Phoenix are a team that must just be scrimming hard points non-stop, because they play this to perfection, as this is arguably the most dominant performance. Not even arguably, I think it's factually at this point the most dominant performance we have seen from either one of these sides so far in this series.
It's definitely looking pretty solid. We go to our second rotation, P1. It's kind of flip-flop back in the way here. UT Chattanooga, they've been able to secure P2 for now. Lewis, though, he's going to be the entry man. You find one at the front and you get cut on down. Red Chase will invest the trophy system here. As you can see, members of Cumberland Phoenix spawning up ahead. If you are some of these members, you have to hold on, but it's that Hellstorm from Drake. Gets infested, finds Yokai and Corona, rips them off the point, and that's going to open this up for a chance to Cumberland Phoenix. They surge on forward. They're holding down this point. Shinobi in the back is just a little bit too weak, and that's a full 4 dead for UT Chattanooga. And Drake gonna hold this one into the back. You can see Honor already playing up here towards the top, playing some of these cutoffs here. And something I'm noticing Cumberland Phoenix is doing fantastic. They're setting up onto these hard points, and then they are just playing all of these cuts, making sure that there's no opportunity for UT Chattanooga to push forward onto these lines of scrimmage. You are just cutting them down and holding some of these hard points absolutely beautifully. You're up 130-ish points so far in this hard point already, about to cross the 200-point mark. You are kind of running away with this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a whole nother level. I mean, a team that is just so dominant in hard point, once again showing it here in Chattanooga. They have moments where they get 2 or 3 down, but can barely make it count for any more than 10 seconds at a time before Cumberland Phoenix are right back in the faces of their opposition, mowing them down and taking the time while they are at it. Over the 200-point mark now, Chattanooga were on the scrap, albeit very briefly. Honor going to be able to take it now. Was, I mean, 27-13, 28-9, Lewis 12-16, but Cal 21-16. I mean, every single player just having an absolute ripper of a game here for the side of Cumberland. Just as you say, they're watching the lanes, they're cutting down all the rotations to perfection. Chattanooga now solely sat on this point really with Shinobi up top, who's just going to try and make life difficult, and does with a 2. But you feel like even a clean hold here is little more than a consolation prize.
Doing your best to hold on in if you are UT Chattanooga. If there is a point that you could lock on in to kind of have a feeling that you're getting yourself back on into the game, it's going to be this one. And so far, UT Chattanooga has done a great job holding on down. Red Chase holding that statue side, making sure nobody's able to get on through. You let one get through and we'll take down your teammate. And because of that, okay, it's getting a little shaky here. You only have scrap time available. But thankfully, Corona kind of saves the day. Cuts 2 on back. P1, third set of rotation. Starting to come alive. Red Chase hits the lineup, finds 2. As you'd love to try and gain some of these points. You're down 90 right now. If you are UT Chattanooga, Cumberland Phoenix trying to sprint towards that 250 victory. And already it's looking pretty solid. You find 2 in the feed. Starting to gain some of these points. When it comes to this P1 right now, I mean, if you are Cumberland Phoenix, you just want to make sure you hold these spawns and gain as many of these points as possible, because you could probably win this on this P2 as long as you play smart.
Yeah, absolutely. The P2 is where they're going to try and win it. Chattanooga, if anything, now just fighting to make sure it's not going to be a triple-digit deficit at which they lose by 217 to 132.
Ooh.
But I will say, if Chattanooga get a clean wipe here, hold the scrap, and be able to hold this P2, which they're set up on the spawns to do, this game will end up very, very close. A clean 60 on top of this would, in fact, have them all tied, I believe, or maybe just about in the lead, if I could do my counting correctly. But now 218 to 149, massive P2 coming up. This first wave of kills is going to be integral to how this hill plays.
All right, well, you're holding this one on down. If you are Red Chase, was doing the Lord's work over there at P1. Just trying to hold on through everybody, trying to smash their face here into this bathhouse. But it's going to be Lewis from the back in a 2-piece. He almost able, he does get the third, but the trades are immediately there. Drakian surges on forward. We'll be able to bring you on down. Shinobi trying to do their best. It's 3 in the feed. We are just shy. Still an opportunity for Cumberland Phoenix to close it out here on P2. Potential last seconds from UT Chattanooga to try and close this one on out into a 3-1. 10 seconds remain right now. Cal has made their way onto the point. Can you manage to stay alive? No, you don't. UT Chattanooga, they'll get some of these, but you have to make your way over towards P3. Only 7 seconds left for Cumberland Phoenix to bring this one on home, but it's going to be Corona trying to go huge. Shinobi making their way through water. Can you hold this one on out?
I mean, I would like to say I've seen crazier things happen, but I don't think I have. I think if they held out here, which now, unfortunately for them, will not to be, it would have been the craziest thing I think I've seen on Black Ops 6 so far. But Cumberland Phoenix coming away with this map number 4, sending us to a map number 5. And it has to be said that performance was utterly dominant. And if I was the side of Chattanooga, I'd be remembering the fact that, yes, while we pulled back the search and destroy, it was still a close one regardless, having to pull it back in a map 11. And maybe the nerves would start setting in again here, as you're looking at a team now on the side of Cumberland Phoenix who are once again finding themselves very in the driver's seat when it comes to the momentum that they'll be taking into the next map.
41-20 from Draken. That is absolutely insane. 5,000 damage. Holy, your gun was hot. That is for sure. But wow, they will be able to tie up the series. Cumberland Phoenix doing a great job here, giving us some fantastic gameplay. I love that you bring up the point, because when you're kind of thinking about it, if you are UT Chattanooga, you're feeling good. You have all this momentum. You came back. You brought it back in. You win the round 11 in the search and destroy. You win by the skin of your teeth and some fantastic gameplay and then control. And what happens? You just get straight up reverse choke slammed in the hard point, right? And it just does not feel good when it comes to momentum, right? You think you have it all, and it just immediately all gets quelled. No lead for UT Chattanooga at all in this map.
Yeah, I mean, Cumberland Phoenix were just utterly dominant there. I mean, if that difference was any wider, it would need to buy 2 seats in an airplane, because that was just a complete top to bottom performance that was unbelievable from Cumberland Phoenix. And again, now going into a search and destroy where they do have the better record. And again, you know, we can argue so much about that map number 2, about how Chattanooga played, how they were able to come back, but how much of that was Chattanooga playing well and how much of it was Cumberland Phoenix taking their foot off the gas pedal, maybe becoming a little bit more complacent. Granted, Chattanooga, we have to give them the credit, they did start playing that search and destroy far better towards the back half, but the fact that they were even given the opportunity to play that well does leave some question marks. I think going into a protocol search and destroy though, Chattanooga have proven how they can play in this map. They've shown it on that control, on the protocol control, that they can dominate those angles, but search and destroy in this map can be a completely different beast.
Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to break all of that down and how this protocol search and destroy is going to happen in just a little bit. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be jumping on no break. Actually, wow, players are fast. I love it. Listen, I don't want to take a break anyway. I'm like, let's see this map number 5, baby. I was already locked in to all the momentum that was here. Yeah, protocol search and destroy. So let's talk about it. You mentioned it a little bit there, Zep, how when it kind of comes to this map, the other search and destroy map we saw in this series, Hacienda, is a little bit more close quarters, right? But where we started seeing success was when UT Chattanooga was able to get those first bloods and play a man up. Protocol, a much easier map to make that happen with, as it is already some movement kicking off our rounds here. Blink of an eye, it's Corona in a 1v3.
Yeah, Corona very quickly finding himself in a position he doesn't want to be in, with that bomb down in A as well. It's what can I say? It's a virtually impossible challenge to get broken in here. Maybe we'll be able to get the pick against Cal if he knows where to look, but not even going for that Chal. And Corona just looking absolutely everywhere. The bomb's down A, not B, but deciding now to rotate through to Spiral. And yeah, very little you could do here other than maybe get a pick. Is going to go and try and for it. Not going to pick it up. And yeah, this round has looked very hopeless very quickly for Chattanooga. No real way into this one, as Cumberland Phoenix look to have taken this round 1.
Yeah, Corona trying to do their best. Maybe at least find one, get the exit, start the streak. But nope. Just not enough. You would love to see that, you know, first basically, you know, a little heady onto Lewis, just be able to kind of convert. And then maybe you can make something happen from there. But the fact that you don't, Lewis is able to skirt on back, stay alive. You see the rest of the teammates. Cal's on the computers there. You got Draken looking from down below. It's a pretty easy play there as Corona tries to slide on out, make something happen. So round number 1 going towards Cumberland Phoenix. We saw some early aggression that went into their favor on the offense. You now get put onto the defense right now. Let's see what are some of these breakoffs going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, the Cumberland Phoenix, if they get another first blood and are able to do it aggressively, then things are going to start looking really dangerous for Chattanooga. And lo and behold, that seems to be the case. But the trade's coming in now, leaving it as a 2v2. Corona with the bomb, though, I believe in the site. Is he getting it down? He is. It's now going to be a 2v2 defense on this A. Neither of these teams messing about when it comes to getting that bomb down quick on A.
You okay? Like a little bit of this heavy. Tacticals getting invested from each side. You knew that there was one. You threw that shoulder, and the connect comes in on the stun. And, well, Cumberland Phoenix, with just a little bit of teamwork, they're able to piece apart the two members of Chattanooga. They'll get the defuse. They'll grab their second round. I'm getting a little bit of flashback for map number 2 here, Zep. Cumberland Phoenix, they're looking good. The one difference I will say, these 2 rounds, it's been pretty clinical, right? That's a fantastic retake for them to play together in order to make that a very clean round for them. It wasn't this, hey, we're just going to kind of 4-hit an area and outgun you that we saw in map number 2. So it seems like a little bit more fundamentals coming on in for Cumberland Phoenix, giving them these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, completely agree. They seem to have locked in here, so to speak, not just relying on pure gun skill and pace, but actually, as you say, making sure to rely on the fundamentals, play clever COD on top of everything else that they're able to bring to this. And being 2-0 up is a position they'll be happy to be in, but Chattanooga, again, kind of going back to the same mistakes we've seen in the previous Search and Destroy they played, where, again, getting that bomb down in sort of even life scenarios, which, you know, has proven that they're just not that great at holding the bomb sites. I mean, they didn't really find much success at it in the previous Search and Destroy map, so for their sake, they better not make sure to stop doing it here. But first blood coming in, big trade though, but now going to have to go for the break themselves and not a whole lot of time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, bomb is down, so yes, obviously Cal finds one and it's immediately traded, but you're kind of okay with that if you are Cumberland Phoenix. You're not giving Chattanooga the opportunity to really play these as you can. Honor on the side, finds one, takes out the pistol. It is just a flurry of eliminations that go towards Cumberland Phoenix at the very end. Everybody slides on forward with the bomb down. It looks like it was Draken who's going to be the last one here. Yeah, finds one, immediately pulls on over, finds Red Chase, brings them on down. A very fast 2-piece in order to give them the round. 3-0 right now for Cumberland Phoenix. This is getting rough.
Yeah, it's looking like they're just growing stronger and stronger. I mean, that A site just kind of plays into their strengths to perfection in the sense of they know how to break it. They know how to get into it quick. If you can make that work for you, there's not much else you need to get locked down on a protocol. But if Chattanooga can find a way to stem the flow of bleeding when it comes to how they're playing in that A point and force Cumberland Phoenix to have to play around other parts of the map, then maybe they can pull them more into their comfort zone. But for now, Chattanooga are really on the back foot here, struggling to find a way into how to even play this map.
Corona making the wrap on the outside, doing his best Lord of the Rings cosplay impression and going for a nice walk, and it's all for naught as you just get turned on, putting your team into the 4v3. Red Chase trying to play on the outside. You've managed to plant bomb at B. I don't know if it matters, though. Chase is the only one alive. Do they check this, though? They do! You had all the time in the world. But wow, Cumberland Phoenix dismantling Chattanooga in that round.
And it's amazing how quickly Chattanooga have come from being a side who were down and out to having all the momentum to arguably looking the most down and out that they have had through the entire series. I mean, they are being utterly dismantled here on this map mode. And again, you know, sometimes you get sucked into the storyline. I mean, were we maybe thinking a little bit too much of Chattanooga and what they could bring to the table after the hype we felt for them after that map 2 and the way they dominated that map 3? Because again, the stats showed how strong they were in control, but the rest of the modes in comparison to Cumberland Phoenix left a lot to be desired. And now we're really seeing that ring true here as once again the status quo seems to have been established with Cumberland Phoenix, arguably the favorite team coming into this one, now looking to be in the driver's seat going towards these final few rounds.
I mean, if you're able to lock this one down, if you're Cumberland Phoenix, you're going to be feeling good. Put you in a 5-0. You find one, Honor on this backside. Not going to be there. Lewis will be able to get the bomb down at least. Honor continuing to run around this backside. It's Red Chase, last one alive. It's just not enough. 5-0. Map point. Game of 5. Cumberland Phoenix doing a great job of answering back. After, like you mentioned, losing those back-to-back S&D and controls. You let it roll off. You come back. Put on a performance in the hard point to put you here, and well, you're putting your stamp on the series.
Absolutely, but I mean, we seen, what was it, a comeback from 5-2 before? Dare I say we get the reverse sweep in map number 5? I mean, it's possible. Will it happen? No, but it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, Yokai, only player who seemingly has found some success here. Or UT Chattanooga. That is a quick 2, though, so it's Lewis and Cal. Cal will be the last one alive. Aim as in hands. You get the stun. Just playing this together, it looks like. A little bit of a do-si-do around this boat on the bottom. You hit the ladder. Got 38 seconds. Bomb planted towards B. That's one. Puts you in the 1v2. You got one more towards Heli. That's an RCXD. This should hopefully at least give you some info. Maybe you're going to use this to try and clear out the heli side. No, you're going to use it to clear out spawn. Okay. You get found out anyway. UT Chattanooga. You've been pretty on top of the caster curses today, Zep. So you may have just spawned something into the air.
Dare I say it, but I mean, hey, I mean, we might as well continue to test this theory. Cumberland Phoenix. Dare I say, they have this one in the bag. There is no way that they would let this one go from this point. Granted, dropping around, but this game, this series, should be all but theirs from this moment on. And I'd be shocked if I was proven wrong in that fact. Chattanooga, the stage is yours. Away you go.
I mean, I'd love to see it. We love the storylines. The whole point of College COD and these divisional restructures to give an opportunity for some of these things like this. It's a 4-hit all the way down here at the bottom. Go on out. It's a pinstripe kill feed so far, but right now it's gone to the favor of Cumberland. It's Corona 1v3. Do you have the hero play in you? You find one. It's not enough though. Cumberland Phoenix close it out. Game number 5 in a 6-1 fashion. I was getting a little shaky there, but they are able to lock it on up. We mentioned it was looking a little bit dire straits for them, but hey, they come back in the hard point. They come back in here into the game number 5, and they make it happen, and they make it happen definitively. Draken 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, immaculate performance in Cumberland Phoenix. Huzzah and hurrah. The caster curse was broken at the death. Finally, Cumberland Phoenix not letting a search and destroy slip in this series, managing to do a real thorough job on that map. Massive congratulations to them and commiserations to UT Chattanooga, who had a very, very strong series and made this one far more entertaining than we initially thought it might have looked to begin with. They kept in there, they kept fighting, and for a large part of this series, in the middle of it, looked like they were the team that was going to come out on top, but Cumberland Phoenix ultimately had a strategy that was working so well for them over on that A side, and as soon as things got a little tough, as soon as the round was dropped, they just made sure to do what they do best, which was to get in quick to that A side, flood it through, and play to just hold inside, and it worked for them for perfection. Chattanooga had no way to break their hold, and ultimately, in that final map, it was comfortable, but overall, an immensely entertaining series.
No, I don't think we could have asked for a better one. Seeing the comeback in that search and destroy, coming out of the literally final seconds of Shinobi going huge in that map number 3 was awesome to see Chattanooga kind of answer back in this series. But the reality is, in those hard points, it was just all Cumberland Phoenix's game, and Protocol Search and Destroy, a map that they are feeling fantastic at. They're able to close up that series. And you can kind of just see there, it was just first bloods for them every single round, and the one round they don't get it is the round they lose. Okay, so that just goes to show you, it was the thing that we were kind of looking at in that first search and destroying the series. UT Chattanooga, all the rounds that they got first blood in, they were able to convert onto a round win. Not able to find the similar things they're able to make happen here in map number 5, so a little bit of struggles there, but they should be feeling pretty good. However, Cumberland Phoenix will hand them their second loss as they go up 9-1. But UT Chattanooga on the 8-2 so far. If you're UT Chattanooga, though, at least you keep that control streak going. You're now 8-0 on it. You should feel pretty good about that. But any of these other teams are definitely looking at that performance to see that, hey, they're going to be a problem when it comes to control. First series done and dusted for College COD Day 2 this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on in, we're going to be kicking off our second series. We're going to be bringing in Proper. We're going to be bringing in Corn. And we are going to be watching, of course, Arizona State taking on the New Mexico State Aggies. Going to be fantastic. Do not go anywhere. We got plenty more banger matchups coming your way as part of College COD. We'll be right back after the break.